Have you ever wondered if your dreams are more than just, well, dreams? What if they're actually a map? Today, we're diving deep into that very idea with one of the most powerful stories ever told, Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist. We're going to follow a young shepherd, Santiago, on an epic quest for treasure, and along the way, we just might uncover a message about our own lives.
This right here, this is the heart and soul of the entire story. It's the engine that drives everything. It's not just a nice little saying, it's a promise. It's this idea that our biggest dreams are actually connected to the universe itself. So keep this in mind, because literally every single step Santiago takes is a test of this very principle.
All right, so our story kicks off in the beautiful, rolling hills of Andalusia, Spain. We meet Santiago, a young shepherd who's pretty happy with his life. I mean, he's got his flock, he's got the open road, he's free. He thinks he has everything he could ever want. But, sometimes being too comfortable can be its own kind of trap, and something is about to shake up his entire world.
He keeps having this dream, over and over again. In it, a little kid takes him to the Great Pyramids in Egypt and says, "Hey, there's treasure buried here for you." Now, at first, he just brushes it off, but it keeps happening. It gets so persistent that he can't ignore it anymore. So this dream is what finally pushes him out of his routine and into the town of Tarifa, where he goes to find a gypsy fortune teller, hoping she can tell him what it all means.
But here's the thing, a dream is just a dream until you decide to act on it. Santiago's real journey doesn't actually start with that vision. No, it all ignites in a crowded town square because of a chance meeting that is going to change his life, literally forever.
So picture this. Santiago's just sitting on a bench, thinking things over, when this old man comes up to him. And this is not just any old man. He says his name is Melchizedek, the king of Salem. And it's wild. It's like he can read Santiago's mind. He knows all about his dream, his doubts, everything. And he's there to give a name to this feeling that's been pulling at Santiago.
He calls it a personal legend. It's a pretty cool concept, right? He explains that it's that thing you've always wanted to do. It's your unique purpose in life. And he tells Santiago that this recurring dream isn't random. It's the universe calling him, telling him to go and fulfill his own personal legend. And for Santiago, this is the moment it all becomes real.
And just like that, Santiago is all in. He commits. Melchizedek gives him 2 special stones to help him read the world's omens. And then comes the big one. Santiago sells his entire flock of sheep. Think about that for a second. He sells his job, his security, his whole identity, all for the chance to follow a dream. He gets on a ship, crosses the sea, and lands in Tangier, Africa, thinking, okay, my adventure starts now.
And almost immediately, it all falls apart. A guy who seems super friendly offers to be his guide. Santiago, being new and trusting, hands over all his money. And poof, the guy vanishes into the crowd. In a flash, Santiago is completely alone, with no money, in a country where he doesn't even speak the language. The despair is just crushing.
Totally defeated, Santiago finds a job working for a local crystal merchant. And this is where he learns a really important lesson. See, the merchant also has a dream. He wants to go to Mecca, but he's too scared to do it. He's afraid that if he actually achieves his dream, he'll have nothing left to live for. By seeing the merchant's fear, Santiago sees the kind of life he never wants to have. He realizes that fear is a way bigger obstacle than failing ever could be. And that doesn't just renew his determination, it makes it unbreakable. Okay, so after working for a whole year, Santiago has finally saved up enough money to get back on track. He leaves the crystal shop and joins this huge caravan that's about to cross the Sahara Desert. It's like a river of people and camels, all heading out into this enormous, dangerous sea of sand, on the way to Egypt. During this long trek, he meets an Englishman who's totally obsessed with finding a famous alchemist. But while the Englishman has his nose buried in books, Santiago starts learning in a totally different way. He just watches. He watches the desert, the stars, the way birds fly. He starts listening to the world and learning how to read its signs, the omens that Melchizedek told him about. And then, it happens. He's watching 2 hawks circle in the sky, and bam! He gets this sudden, intense vision of an army attacking the oasis where they're all staying. He runs to warn the tribal leaders. They're skeptical, of course, but they listen to him. And when the attack happens just like he saw it, his warning saves everyone. At this point, he's not just some shepherd boy anymore. He's someone who can actually understand the language of the world.
So, because of his vision, Santiago gets a lot of attention.
And this brings two new, powerful forces into his life. One is going to test his heart, and the other is going to test his very soul.
First, he meets Fatima, a woman from the oasis, and it's love at first sight. For the first time, he actually thinks about giving up his quest and just staying with her. But then, he also meets the man the Englishman was looking for, the Alchemist, a super powerful and mysterious guy who sees Santiago's potential and agrees to guide him the rest of the way to the pyramids.
So as they're traveling, they get captured by a group of tribal warriors. And to save them both, the alchemist makes this absolutely insane promise. He tells the chieftain that Santiago is so powerful he can turn himself into the wind, and he says he'll prove it in 3 days. If he can't, they'll both be killed. Santiago is, as you can imagine, completely terrified. He has no clue how he's going to pull this off. Now, the key thing to get here is that this isn't about some magic trick. It's about connection. Santiago goes out to a cliff and just starts talking to the world around him. He asks the desert for help, then he talks to the wind, then to the sun, but finally he reaches out to the one force that connects everything, the soul of the world.
And in that moment, he gets it. He isn't separate from the wind or the sun. He is part of them. He's part of everything. By tapping into that deep connection, he unleashes this massive, terrifying desert windstorm that scares the daylights out of the tribesmen. And after seeing that incredible power, the chieftain lets them go free.
So, after passing that ultimate test, Santiago is finally able to finish his journey. He makes it. After all that time, all the struggles, he is standing right in front of the massive, majestic pyramids of Egypt. This is it, the place from his dream, the end of the line.
His heart is just pounding. He starts digging in the sand where he dreamed a treasure would be. But just as he gets going, he gets jumped by bandits. They beat him up, and just like that first day in Africa, they steal everything he has left. And they demand to know what on earth he's doing digging a hole out here.
So Santiago, in pain, tells them about his dream, and the leader of the bandits just laughs at him. He thinks it's the dumbest thing he's ever heard, and to prove how stupid dreams are, he tells Santiago about a dream he once had, a recurring dream about a treasure buried under a sycamore tree inside a ruined church in Spain.
Lying there, beaten and bruised, Santiago starts to laugh. A huge wave of joy just washes over him. He finally understands everything. The treasure was never in Egypt. The whole point of the journey, all the people he met, all the lessons he learned, was just to get him to this exact spot so he could learn where the treasure really was.
So he makes the long trip all the way back home to Spain. He finds that same old abandoned church where this whole thing started. He goes right to the sycamore tree growing inside it, and he starts to dig. And there it is, right where he used to sleep with the sheep. He finds a chest just overflowing with gold coins and precious jewels.
But as he's looking at all that gold, he knows that's not the real prize. The real treasure was the journey. It was learning the language of the world. It was finding love. It was discovering the power he had inside himself. The real alchemy wasn't turning lead into gold. It was the journey turning a simple shepherd boy into the man he was always meant to be.
So Santiago had to travel all the way across the world just to find out that the treasure was waiting for him right back where he started. And that leaves us with a really big question, doesn't it? What journey do you need to take, not to find something new out there, but to finally see the treasure that's been waiting for you at home all along?